Hey, what's good, y'all? If you're watching this video, then there's probably a good chance that you've come across the whole Alex Meyers controversy, cancellation, which essentially boils down to he had some seriously unsavory opinions about the movie Obsession and the very heavy themes within it, including like essay and the loss of autonomy, etc. And he defends a pretty indefensible character multiple times. So yeah, people were less than thrilled about it. And that prompted him to make an apology video. Well, a YouTuber apology video. We all know how that goes. You get like Colleen Ballinger and her ukulele.
All aboard the toxic gossip train. You're chugging down the tracks of misinformation. The toxic gossip train.
Sienna May and her interpretive dance.
Ooh, judging me and you see a little high.
Honestly, I don't know which was worse, but he did start his apology with the "I'm sorry if," and you're off to a bad start. There's not going to be a genuine apology found in this video anywhere when you hear some nonsense like that, but we'll get to that later on. But I want to talk about is a broader topic, and that's this whole nice guy epidemic, pandemic, phenomenon, whatever you want to call it. And it's because Alex Meyers, which maybe a lot of people didn't really notice, but he has demonstrated a lot of stereotypical characteristics of the textbook nice guy in many of the things that he says in both of these videos. And the people who have shown up to defend him, sword and shield in hand, are just like that. I think the people who not only defend Bear, but have defended Alex Meyers are very much these textbook nice guys themselves. And you'll see what I mean by that very shortly. Okay, so this is the scene where Alex says that Bear, the character of Obsession here, not assaulting Nikki when she clearly wasn't in her right state of mind was a gentlemanly thing to do. And obviously we got to break this down.
Okay, see, this is my point. Like, given the circumstances, Bear's being pretty normal about this, okay? Given what he does and does not know by this point in the movie, like, he could have slept with her, or he could have taken some kind of advantage of her, but he was rather gentlemanly at the time. I mean, for a guy who has this many Cosby sweaters.
All right, so yeah, I can't believe these words genuinely came out of his mouth. And I know this guy's been basically going through the ringer for the last couple of weeks now, and I'm just kind of adding on to that. But like I said, this is about a broader topic that needs to be discussed, but we have to start here. This is textbook nice guy thinking, right? Because you didn't assault this woman, that makes you very gentlemanly. They really do think like that. I can picture a scenario where the nice guy here finally gets the girl he wants to come home with him, and she's on drugs or something, like she's clearly not fully there. And he's like, I have this opportunity to take advantage of this woman, to strip her of her autonomy here and do whatever I want with her. But I'm a nice guy. I would never do that. And then proceeds to not do it. First off, brother, that's the bare minimum. That thought shouldn't even cross your mind, to take advantage of a woman in this situation. That's absolutely horrid. To even consider doing that is a very evil thing in and of itself. That shouldn't even be on the table. And the fact that Alex Meyers felt like he needed to take a moment to defend Bear and his chivalry in this situation is very, very telling, to say that he was rather gentlemanly for choosing not to take advantage of Nikki in that situation. Honestly, one thing that he missed very clearly was that he still did take advantage of Nikki. He knew that she was not in her right state of mind. He assumed that she was on drugs or something like that. And he still proceeds to make out with her and touch her very sexually, knowing these things. And this would have led to a full-blown assault had Nikki not freaked out and backed out of the situation. So he's not even acknowledging that either. But yes, this is the nice guy mentality. And I had lots of people, I'm not going to showcase them because I don't want to give them the attention, showing up in my comments in my video that I made about this on my other channel, defending both Bear and Alex by saying, well, Bear never assaulted her here, which is just untrue. Why would you apologize for something that you didn't do, is something that I heard people say. And it's like they completely missed the whole point that Bear did in fact assault her, because she wasn't able to consent to these actions and he partook in them anyway, which is textbook assault. But many of them don't see it this way. Genuinely, to the core of their being, they don't see these actions as assault. They don't see this as taking advantage of someone who can't say no. And that's a lot like how many of these nice guys genuinely think. Now, before we get to Alex Meyers' apology, I want to draw your attention to this video that I came across on TikTok. Now, this is a lovely gentleman here, a nice guy, a real man, a good man is what he calls himself, who believes that he is entitled to a relationship because he hits all the check boxes of a good man. And we're going to break down exactly why this dude is out of his fucking mind.
If you are a woman and you have found yourself thinking, where are the good men? This video is for you. So I believe that I am one of those good men. I work extremely hard. I made roughly 6 figures in salary last year. I'm above average height. I work out regularly. I'm in great shape. I take excellent care of myself. I eat healthy. I cook. I clean. I do chores. I communicate exceptionally well with everybody in my life, clients, friends, family members, significant others. I treat other people with respect. I'm empathetic. I'm a great listener. I feel like I have a lot of qualities that would be excellent in a partner. I'm tired of the energy and the effort that I put into trying to meet someone. And I hear, I'm sorry, I have a boyfriend. I'm not interested in dating right now. Whatever other excuses I hear. Honestly, I feel invisible as a man. And I have very high standards. That's true. But I also think that I have very high qualification. I have all these things. So it's not like what I'm asking for is unreasonable. And yet the amount of attention that I get from the opposite gender is literally just like a pittance. So really the only choice that I have is to, like I said, remove myself from the equation and basically remove myself from the dating pool. And I know that a lot of other men are doing this too. I'm tired of the disrespect. I'm tired of the lack of communication. I'm tired of not receiving back what I'm putting out there. And so
honestly, man, I think you're doing a service by deciding to stay out of the dating pool. Do a service to yourself and a service to everybody else. I want to talk about first one of his points where he's saying that like he hits all these check boxes. He's tall, right? That makes you a good man, right? Being above average height, it's a good man qualification right there. Makes 6 figures, yeah, another very blatant, obvious good man qualification. I mean, honestly, that's probably the only one that you need. I don't get why he's not getting everything that he wants. I mean, he has all of these qualifications. I mean, if this was a job interview, he'd be hired on the spot, right? Come on, guys. I mean, look how handsome he is as well, right? You know, he's really, really got it going for him. And he says he's empathetic, you know, he listens, he's a good listener, he pays attention to what you've got to say. Why aren't you dating him yet? Right? Why aren't you? This is obviously a you problem, not a him problem. Okay, let me drop this ridiculous sarcasm to be serious for a moment here. This is pure entitlement in its realest form. No matter what qualifications you think you have, you're not entitled to a relationship. A relationship isn't a business transaction. It's not an agreement to an employer to be hired. It's not a housing application. You know, it's not something that you just go through the checklist, and as long as you have all those things that you then get what you think you're signing up for or whatever. That's just not how relationship works. There's so much more to it than just having XYZ arbitrary, artificial qualifications that you believe are a thing. None of those things were qualifications for a relationship, believe it or not. Obviously, it's nice to be a good listener. It's nice to have empathy and to be a good person, right? Those are great things that should definitely help you in finding yourself a stable relationship, but they're not things that guarantee it. Now, honestly, I don't know this guy personally, anything like that. I've never met him at a grocery store or anything like that. I've never been a woman that he has decided to court, but I'm of the belief that what the package that he's saying he offers is probably very shallow into what he really has to offer based off of the type of person he clearly is. I'm pretty confident in saying that when he probably interacts with women that he's interested in, it probably doesn't go the way he thinks it does in his head. The reason that I imagine many of these women are not interested in him is they could probably tell that he's just simply not somebody they want to be with, especially when he sees relationships as so transactional and he feels entitled to women because of all these check checkpoints that he's made for himself. That's not somebody who views women as independent people with their own autonomy and ability to make their own choices. I mean, there's the part where he's like calling a woman who says they're in a relationship or whatever, he's saying that's an excuse to not be with him. That is just absurd. I mean, that line in and of itself is extremely telling. I feel like he exhibits the nice guy characteristics in a way that is so clear and abundant that you can't even gloss over it. It's so painfully obvious and in your face. It's so hard to ignore. But yet when this man looks in a mirror, he can't understand that. He can't see it himself. I think the day that he understands that relationships should not be transactional, that's extremely toxic right from the get-go. His thinking is completely wrong. The day that he understands that might be the day that he might actually be able to look inward and see that he is the problem and it's not the women who reject him. Now, this last video I want to take a look at before going into the Alex Meyers apology, this is about nice guys who are too nice. Now, I know that sounds a little counterintuitive, right? That you can be too nice. That is very much a thing. And also, there's this performative aspect to it. And in addition to that, there's always this ignorance towards the other person's boundaries where they don't want you to do these things for them, but you bypass what they actually want for what you believe they want, which then leaves you being a typical nice guy douchebag at the end of the day, even though you think you're being real kind and polite and nice and you're trying to help this person out. And she just does such a fantastic job at explaining exactly that from her own experience.
And this is probably going to trigger some men, but sometimes men really are just too nice to try and date. I'm not referring to like the incels that call themselves nice guys. I'm talking about like genuinely like nice guys. Hear it now, oh my god, all women want are douchebags, you guys don't like the real nice men, like you just want to date assholes. No, I want to date somebody with a fucking backbone. Give you some examples. So I met this guy a few months ago and we've been hanging out every weekend for pretty much the entire time we've known each other. He made it clear that he wants something romantically and I made it clear that I do not want that and I don't want a relationship right now because I'm just not in the mental headspace, I'm not in the financial headspace, I don't have the energy to put into that. Instead of taking that as like, I should step back and probably wait for her to be ready, he took that as, oh, this is my cue to just go 0 to 100 in 0.2 seconds. The first times we were hanging out, I made a comment about how one of my favorite eyeshadows was like about to be gone. Conversation continues, he's on his phone, and eventually I look over to see what he's doing, and he's looking up and trying to find this exact eyeshadow. And like, yeah, that's a nice thing if he had been like, oh, here I found one, I'll send you the link. He found a $30 eyeshadow. The original eyeshadow was probably maybe $5. I'm like begging him not to buy it because like, I don't know you, you don't really know me. Why? I already told you like I don't want to date. Why are you buying me this like expensive thing that's so unnecessary? And I also know from our conversations what he does for work and like, he just doesn't have money like that, you know? I'm not saying it to be mean, but I'm saying it to be practical. And the eyeshadow that he found was $30, bro. That's really expensive for a single eyeshadow. Legitimately begging him not to buy this eyeshadow and he does not listen to me. He orders it right in front of me and goes straight to his house. I have a problem with men spending money on me in general because that really only gets me into horrible positions. Like I'm clocking the love bombing in real time. Each time we've hung out since then, he has insisted on paying for everything and buying me things that I'll literally look at something. Like we went to a gas station, right? And I looked at this plush doll, okay? I looked at it and he immediately walked over and bought it. I didn't ask him for it. I didn't even want it. Getting like he thinks these are really nice gestures and that's cool and fun or whatever, but like and you know what, I'm not a bad person, but just knowing that I could totally walk all over you and like take advantage of you if I wanted to is just not an attractive trait.
Yeah, I know this is a slightly different conversation. Honestly, I'll probably have to go into more depth about it in a different video. But this is the type of nice guy who engages in like love bombing because they think, you know, buying you a bunch of things and like just giving you every little thing that you want or maybe you don't want, but he thinks you want is the way to get to you. And like, it's very artificial. It's very fake. It's not genuine. And it's like, it doesn't work. And it's just not a good way to approach like a relationship. And she has made it clear that she's not looking for a relationship right now, but he doesn't care. He doesn't care about her boundaries. He doesn't care about what she actually wants. And he's focused on himself. It seems like nice and genuine from some people's perspectives, but in reality, it's not. It's very selfish and it's very much focused on him achieving his goal of getting her. And by doing you know, all these little gestures and things. And it's improper. And it's also extremely inappropriate, especially when it's not wanted. She made it very clear that it's not wanted. I know some of you are probably wondering, what does this have to do with Alex Meyers? And the way I'm going to pretty much wrap that idea up is simply this. This is one other aspect of the whole nice guy umbrella. Now, some people see one side of it or two sides of it or bits and pieces of the whole nice guy idea, but there's so much to it that people don't recognize. And Alex Meyers simply shows one other aspect of the nice guy idea. And that's his interpretation of being a good man or a good person is extremely shallow, artificial, just like this man's interpretation of being like a good, nice man or whatever is very shallow and artificial as well. He thinks love bombing and buying you things is being a good man, being a nice man, when in reality, respecting boundaries and giving the person you're interested in what they want instead of what you believe they want, that's being a good person. And you don't do it simply for yourself. You do it because that's the right thing to do. That's how in the case of Bear, where he's defending him not assaulting Nikki, he's not doing it for Nikki. And again, he still did assault her, but you know, that's a whole conversation. But he's doing it simply because he's afraid to, because he's afraid of her reaction or how she might talk about it later, because she knows she's not in the right state of mind. That's the reason he chooses not to do it, simply out of fear, not out of preservation of Nikki's autonomy. But people like Alex Meyers wants to act like he's doing it because he's a chivalrous gentleman who would never take advantage of a woman, which is far, far, far from the truth, especially since 20 minutes later into the movie, he does exactly that in the worst way possible. But, of course, we must see exactly how Alex atones for his sins here. How does he make amends with his community and the people who were deeply bothered by the disgusting things that he said in that review? Well, let's see.
Well, that's happened. I wanted to make this video because at first it was just hate on the video for Obsession, and that's fine. You can hate on it if you want. You can disagree, that's totally fine. But it has, in the past couple of days, it's devolved into personal attacks, and it's gotten to a level that I can foresee getting kind of dangerous. Some of the things some of you are doing and saying is it's gone beyond just the video, and now it's become rather serious. I want to make this video. I'm going to keep it brief. I have my phone with me because I took some notes. I don't want to miss anything. And just to clear some things up. So first of all, I'm sorry if I worded my video in a way that made it sound like I am defending rape or pro-rape in some way. That is very much not the intention of the video. As I said in the beginning, it very much was meant to be a good faith sort of attempt at sort of looking at this movie as a work of fiction, as a piece of media to be consumed, the same way you would do with a book or anything like that. So just to clear things up, sexual assault is bad. Bear is bad. What Bear does in the movie, very bad. Bear is the villain of the movie. I think I said this in the video. Maybe I wasn't clear enough. That's my fault. Bear is the villain. Bear does many, many bad things. I elected to not show every single bad thing he did because A, the video was already very long, and B, I had already said that he was bad, so I didn't feel the need to show every example of that because
All right, that's all we need. It's a whole lot of nothing, a whole lot of coping, a whole lot of garbage. But all the points that I want to talk about, they're all front-loaded. First off, I'm sorry if I worded my video in a way that blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you're already fucked up. You already done fucked up, man. This is no longer an apology. This is a video full of excuses and you trying to save your own ass for being trash and having the worst takes imaginable and still not even understanding why people are upset. In addition to that, he says the only reason he's making this apology is because people were threatening him. Now, obviously, people shouldn't be threatening him. They should not be trying to harm him, threatening to harm him, anything of the sort. That's completely deplorable, unjustified behavior. But he made it very clear that that was the main motivation behind making this non-apology video, simply that he didn't like the threats and he felt like making this video would make them go away, perhaps. Make them go away. not because he knows that what he said was very unsavory, problematic, and perpetuates rape culture, because he's trying to give credit to somebody for not assaulting a woman. Like, I guess assaulting a woman would be the normal, correct thing, or the expected thing to do in this situation. Maybe not correct necessarily, but the expected thing. And he's like, well, he didn't do that, so that makes him a good guy. So in other words, if he do it, that just makes him normal, regular dude. Is that what you're saying? That's the implication behind a statement like that. And putting that out there, making other people watch this video believe that that's totally normal, confirming it if they already have that thought in their mind, yeah, that's really, really, really problematic. And then the last thing is him talking about how he had already said Bear was bad, so he didn't feel the need to say it again or to show other instances of it. The problem is he cut out the instances that are the worst. Like, he cut out the instance of him literally assaulting Nikki. He cut out the instance of Bear trying to alter his wish so that he can keep it, but just mold it in a way that benefits him more while still keeping Nikki stripped of her autonomy. Cuts that part out. Cuts out the part where Bear tries to throw up the pills at the end that would have, you know, saved Nikki from the fate that he chose for her, the damning, horrible fate that he chose for her, which obviously would have still been terrible at the end. Cut that out too. And yeah, I think he even cuts out the part where Bear says what would be so bad, instead of the what is so bad about being with him, when Nikki is begging for him to free her from the torture that he forced upon her. So yeah, that's why people are genuinely upset, and he never actually went out of his way to right his wrongs. He made that apology, deleted it, the review, deleted it, made his videos subscriber only, so only people who are subscribed to him could leave comments. Yeah, he is just trying to push us on the rug and pretend it never happened, which is a common thing that people do when they get canceled for putting very unsavory things out into the ether like he has done. And yeah, at the end of the day, it makes it very clear that he demonstrates the same type of nice guy thinking as many of the people I've talked about on this channel. He does it in a way that's a bit more subtle, but there's also this deep embedded misogyny that people have been pointing out from his other videos as well, where it shows through quite often. And I think overall that, you know, Alex Meyers, people are still talking about it. I'm obviously still talking about it here, but I don't think it's just simply because a big YouTuber said some misogynistic, outright scary things, but I think it's because of the bigger conversation around it that has been very prevalent these days. And I think it's getting worse. It's not getting better. I think there's more people adapting the nice guy mentality. You've got these fucking passport bros, which I've talked about in my previous video, who are seeking women who are in less fortunate situations because they think their money and their status as an American can be used to simply take advantage of these situations and take advantage of these women, and they don't care because they can't do it here, so they're gonna go do it somewhere else. And the whole practice is very predatory and it's gross. And yeah, I wish I could say things were improving, but they're not. So unfortunately, we have to keep having these conversations, because if we don't, people are going to just keep thinking that this is the way that they should act, and these are the things that they should do, and these are the things that they should believe. And when a big creator with over 4 million subscribers comes out and defends quite literally a rapist and defends these horrendous actions, it's a really, really bad look for everyone, even if that wasn't his intention. But his apology almost makes it seem like he still doesn't understand what he did wrong and why it's such a problem. And I say almost, but I actually mean definitely, because that is very much the case. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like and subscribe button. Actually, you know what? Wait. Don't go anywhere. I have a book, okay? It's called The Elevator Man. It actually explores some similar topics to what we just discussed in this video. And I wrote this book years ago now. I want to say like maybe 3 years ago now. And I've been working on the sequel kind of, but you know, with YouTube and work and all that stuff, it's hard to find time for this, but I would love to have more time to write the sequel. I think the sequel is going to be really, really interesting. But obviously the book as it is, The Elevator Man, it's available on Amazon. Should be linked to it in the description if you want to get yourself a copy. please do. I'd love to hear your feedback. You're welcome to make a post about it on my YouTube channel, leave it in the comments, etc. I really don't care. Just let me know what you think. Anyway, I'll see you all next time.